No, I watched the video today. And
you did?
The video, they're in a gas station. And the drummer's playing the drums with the gas pump hoses. I was going, what? Whose idea was that?
All right, welcome back to the Say What You Will podcast with Mark, Dennis, and myself. Talking rock albums from 40 years ago on the month they were released. This month is June of 1983. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Facebook. I'll put all the links in the show notes. And especially don't forget to rate and review us, obviously positive, of course, on Twitter, on iTunes, and any other podcast platform you catch us on. One last thing is we're going to have some local news at the end of this podcast, local being Seacoast of New Hampshire news, and we're going to reveal something kind of cool that we're going to do. But we'll save that to the end. Little teaser. Dennis, Mark, what's up?
Not much.
What's going on? Welcome back, boys.
This is, we were just saying, this is episode 10. 10.
Yeah.
Dennis.
Congratulations.
6. No,
Yeah.
when did you do the first one?
I think you had 3 in that you had done.
In the can, as they say?
Yeah, and then so
you've been
7, I
almost-
guess.
So like December, I think it was.
So we only did 3.
Yeah. Those are classics. All right, well, let's jump right in with some news that we have. Dennis, do you want to go? Or
Yeah.
Mark? Or?
So the Extreme new release, right? So
Friday.
Yep. So what I did, this is probably not going to be a popular opinion, but because it was nice to hear that. I mean, those first 3 singles that they released were incredible. And I went in, I listened to the rest of the album, and I guess I was just anticipating
More of that.
And I was disappointed. I'm not saying that the album's bad. I mean, I think there's some pretty cool tunes. There's I think you were playing it earlier, a summer track that's kind of, Beautiful Girls.
Yeah,
it's called. That's kind of cool, neat. But I guess I was just disappointed. I was kind of hoping to hear more shredding, throughout the whole, like there was this going to be a complete guitar rock album. You know what I mean? I didn't.
Yeah,
I found that.
Much
I don't know. I guess I got to listen to it more.
I like it.
Yeah.
I think it's a real complete album. There's just some different songs on there for sure.
Yeah.
But then you think back of like Zeppelin doing it. Not saying they're Zeppelin, but they had different songs
Right.
that you'd hear and you're like, whoa, that's on the same album as Immigrant Song.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I liked it. And then Gary does some just, I don't want to say weird, but like different stuff with his vocals
Yep.
that are pretty cool. Give it another listen.
Yeah, I will.
There's a song on there that's freaking touching as hell, and it's called Hurricane. And I think I could be wrong, but I think it's like the last moments before you fucking check out, before you die. And
Wow.
it's pretty touching.
Pretty deep.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, I
and
will.
him and Nuno are singing. They're exchanging vocals.
Oh.
But there's some other heavy stuff on there. There's some stuff that sounds like it could have been in 95,
Yeah.
which is weird. Kind of like Banshee sounds like it could be their first album,
Right.
Yeah,
I'll definitely give it another listen, Derek, for sure. And, naturally some music, it's when you do a first pass, I think of some of the albums we've reviewed, and even, the first listen takes a couple listens and then you discover stuff.
So I think it's harder these days with the model that they all release a single. Like before an album comes out, there's like 5 singles they've dropped, 5 tunes. I think it makes it harder to get the sense of it being a complete album when you were to pick it up in a store and you've only heard one single.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They all release tunes throughout. I think it actually, someone may argue, but I think it hurts them. Like, I think it would be better to have, if they released Rise, although you would say, where are all the Rise songs maybe? I don't know.
There's no anticipation to buy an album. You've already
Heard
heard half before you got the album.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole reason when you bought albums back then was you couldn't wait to get home, rip the plastic off, open it up, and listen to those songs you didn't hear on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Which is pretty much the ones we like more than the radio hits, right?
Yeah, no, I agree.
But I guess there's no, there's no anticipation there anymore. There's no surprise. There's no mystique. I think we talk about mystique with bands. You know what I mean?
That leads into my next headline, if you want to do it.
Yeah.
So, what's his name? There was a Nuno interview, and it's with Rick Beato. Beato. So Nuno did an interview with him. It was freaking long, like 2.5 hours. But and Nuno sounds like he's I don't know if he's on Ritalin or what, but he's just diarrhea. Just it's great. He drops a lot of stuff. Some amazing stories. One I was telling Lisa on the ride back from Boston this morning about him meeting Paul McCartney and playing with him and actually like writing a song with him was pretty cool. But they're talking about Van Halen, and you've said this before, Mark. They're talking about Van Halen and when those albums came out, and they're talking about the mystique of bands, him and Rick.
Right.
And Eddie goes, Nuno goes, I remember the first time I heard Eddie talk, and I was so disappointed. He goes, I just always thought it was just going to be this like godlike voice. And
he had kind of a whiny...
Yeah. Like a complaining...
Like Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
When he was like... The first time I heard him talk, I remember it, because we went through all of the Dave era without hearing that guy, right? Now you hear some interviews that were back then, but they weren't available back in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
So from 78 to 84, the only guy's voice you knew...
was Dave.
It was Dave.
And that's what Eddie said. He goes... I keep saying Eddie. That's what Nuno said. They did it right. They had Dave as the voice.
And they kept the mystique of those guys.
Yeah.
So what I was getting back to was when 5150 was coming out. I don't know if it's been out yet, but Sammy had joined, and they were at some kind of party or something, and he finally spoke. They asked him like about the new band and having Hagar. He said something like, we're faster. They're comparing it to a car.
Show, he said.
Yeah, and, we're faster, we handle better, and blah, blah, blah. And that was like the first time I go, wow, I finally heard Eddie freaking talking the freaking 10 years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but what happens when that happens?
Mystique goes out.
Gone.
Yeah.
Because somebody talking in their voice gives away their whole personality, right?
Yeah.
So then all the questions in your head of what kind of person is this guy? All I see him is playing guitar on stage and running around and smiling. But you don't know the guy. We knew Dave, right?
Yep.
Just because he spoke and talked and he was in interviews, you can kind of gather your own kind of thoughts on a person,
Yep.
But, then when Eddie started, he coming to the forefront, it kind of ruined that mystique with me.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it's funny. They were talking about that. That it's different now.
Oh, he became a human, not a character.
Well, he said in that same interview, he's like, today, he goes, I don't want to see Jimmy Page making pasta.
Yeah, right.
Right. You don't want to see him being normal.
No.
Doing everyday normal things.
No.
You know what I mean? It's like you don't want to go get backstage passes and open the door and Eddie's taking a shit. It's like, I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like you're ruining the mystique of who you are,
Yeah. It's almost like you don't want to ever meet him.
Well, I almost met David Lee Roth when he played at the casino
What?
And he played a show, and then he came down to sign autographs in front of the tour bus. And I was standing there with my mother, and he went to the guy next front of me, and he skipped right over me, went to my mother. My mother got something signed, and then he kept going. I go, that son of a bitch. I go,
Wow.
But then I told my brother, he goes, you know what? That keeps the mystique alive. I go, yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, that's funny.
But what would that be if you actually made it in the business? Talk about the mystique getting ruined for everybody in the business, right? Because you meet everybody, you know?
Yeah. I know, right? That would definitely suck. But he went on to say a couple of cool things. He goes, "You cannot have Edward without Roth, and vice versa. There would be no Roth without Eddie."
Well, no,
Like he, which was like, you know, you hear it kind of piggybacks on the thing I've said about Sammy.
Yeah, but I don't think there's any
Sammy
Robert
would-
Plant without Page.
Right.
I think there's tons of bands where they need each other to make the magic happen.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just Van Halen. I think it's all great bands have to have a chemistry and have the right guy. You know, like Keith Richards needs Mick Jagger, right?
Right.
They need each other to make it the formula work.
Yeah.
You know,
I think, like I've said before, Ted created that. I mean, there was elements of it there, but I think he created Dave. I think he created Dave's voice. I think he created all that, because we saw what Dave did
good
without
producers
Ted,
will do that.
because he sucked. You know, a
Right.
Skyscraper, that was horrible. But I just thought it was cool. He's like, you can't have Eddie without Dave. And you can't have Dave without Eddie. And I was like, whoa.
Wow.
Kind of goes to my thing about Sammy Hagar wouldn't be as big as he is right now without Van Halen.
Oh no,
Just-
no.
Right.
I don't.
I mean, he
don't-
was successful.
He was successful, but I think he would have been another, you know, Richard Marx and
Billy
those
Squiire.
Billy Squiire and
Yeah.
those.
Oh,
Write some hits,
Oh,
and that's
yeah.
it.
I mean, he joined one of the greatest rock bands in the world. I mean,
Yep.
saved his career pretty much.
Yeah, it's a good interview. Check it out, though.
Sure.
What do you got? Anything, Mark?
Well, I saw something interesting. Steel Panther went on America's Got Talent. Did you know that?
I saw that.
And they liked him. What's his name there? Cowell and
Oh, Simon. Yeah.
who's the other guy there? But you know, but the question is why?
Publicity has to be.
They've already successful. They're on a major record label. So what's their goal?
Well, I'd be interested to hear what they sung.
They sung.
I mean, their
didn't
material's
do-
pretty
Well, no, they
they
had
didn't-
one that was pretty clean.
Asian hooker.
That they did. No. But you know, I was just reading what the winner gets. It's $1 million, and you get $25,000 over 40 years. 40 years. Or you can get a cash payout after taxes of $300,000. So what is their?
So did they win that night? Or I
No,
don't even know
they
how it
just
worked.
that was their first. You know, to see if they
Did they move on?
move on.
They're
They
on
moved on.
TV.
They did.
But
So
I
they're
don't
on, like,
understand
another
what the
episode?
point is.
The point is being
They're
visible.
already successful. They already have a career, and they're playing, you know, Download Fest, and they're on a major record label. So what's this for? Isn't that the point? Is to
Yeah.
win this so you can get noticed and make it in the business? They already did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't get it. So I thought that was interesting. The only other thing, I guess Tesla's got a new live album,
Yeah, we were talking about it on the
but
way.
it's weird. There's only 9 songs on it.
That's what people have been complaining about. Like,
Yeah.
It's
those
like, why
songs.
would you put 9 songs on a live album?
I did listen to it a little bit. It's pretty good. It's from like a biker rally. I think.
Sturgis?
Sturgis.
Oh, yeah, it is from Sturgis. I
So
heard Frank.
it's all like deep tracks for the most part. There's a couple singles that are in there, but yeah, I mean it's it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's hard. It's heavy.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I just question why they limit themselves to 8 or 9
Yeah.
songs on a live album. I mean, it sounds a little ridiculous.
Yeah, check it
Yeah.
out. I mean, it's all right.
I haven't listened to it yet. I will. Their other live album I was just listening to the other day. I forget what it. Coming at You Live, I think it's called. And they open up with Coming at You Live, and that is probably.
Well, that Replug Live, that's the good one.
Oh, maybe that's it.
Yeah.
That's probably the best opening track.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It's so good.
that
So
song. I mean, that's
good. It's
pretty much what they open every concert with.
yeah. I think the last show I saw them though they didn't. They opened
They
up
didn't.
with like
Yeah, you're right.
Modern Day Cowboy or something. I was like, huh.
Yeah, you get that
You can't
song
go
is
wrong
written to
with
be
that.
opened
Yeah.
with.
Yeah.
You know,
lyric,
the name of it.
the progression of it, the dueling solos, the
Right.
Well, I guess they have it alive in Europe too. I didn't know they had a. They got a lot of live albums out.
do they?
Yep.
Huh.
Well, they got the 5-man, which isn't really
Right.
and then they got a 5-man London Jam. Then they got Replugged, and then they got a Tesla Live, and then they have a Tesla Live in Europe. I didn't know they had all that.
I didn't either.
And then the new one that we just talked about.
What's that one called?
I'm on the site. This is just Full Throttle
Yeah.
Live.
Yeah. Full Throttle
Oh,
Saloon.
Sturgis
Yeah.
reference kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yep.
I think Bike Week
But
starts
you would
this
figure if they were doing a live album, would you record the whole show? They didn't play 9 songs,
week.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's,
Interesting.
That's weird.
That's all I had for news.
What do you got?
I got one other thing. I'll just mention. Oh, did you want to go? Or
No,
I'll
you
go?
have another one
Yeah,
that I
just-
had thought talking about
Well,
anyways.
well, I was just the Guns N' Roses.
Oh, that wasn't the one I was.
Okay, well,
Go ahead.
yeah, real quick, GNR, 8 years now on
Yeah.
tour, no new material, and it was interesting. I forget if it was Trunk or I forget what podcast or what it was on the radio, and they were talking about the fact that the relationship is still very timid between the three in the band, and that they're making so much money on this tour that they don't want
Can't
to
stop.
mess with that and end up going into the studio and then hating each other. And then all of a sudden that money making
Machine.
stops
Yeah.
because Axel freaks out or whatever. He doesn't want to work with Slash anymore. And then all of a sudden, no more touring and no more making money. that they're
Don't they
making.
have enough money? How rich? I mean, these guys are filthy
2015 they've been
rich.
touring.
So
How do you
In
not?
stadiums.
But
How
when
do you not sick of it though?
So you talk about a band that's been around and just the fans are starving for new material, but you're not going to get it.
What they're doing for new is they're now on this tour. I saw that they're doing a couple of newer songs that they never did in the set. In the, I don't even know what the tunes were, but I saw an article like, oh, they played Mr. Brownstone. They haven't played that in whatever.
Well, they would have to because I can't see how you could tour for 8 straight years playing the same 15 songs over and over and over for fucking 8 years. I'd hang myself
Yeah.
at that point. It'd be like that's the only thing that keeps bands fresh is new material, right?
Yeah.
You want to
would
go out and
think,
play the new
yeah.
stuff. I can't see how they did night after night of just playing the same old shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. But you had, I thought you had a little mention about Rat.
Yeah.
Does he have a new book,
Yeah. Well,
Who?
Piercy?
I don't
No,
think
he-
so. He has that. He's pushing the box set.
box set,
Oh,
200
box.
We
bucks.
talked about that in the
Yeah.
last one.
So there's a rumor that Rat DiMartini is interested in getting together with Blotzer and bringing the band back together.
That's what Blotzer had said in an interview,
Yeah. So
which would be
Wasn't Blotzer
Now-
fighting with some of those guys?
Yeah, but
too?
well,
they
that's old
settled
news
that,
now.
yeah.
They settled it. Yeah.
that was some naming rights.
Crucier is, but he's playing with somebody else now, right?
Who, Crucier?
Yeah. He's like
Well-
in.
Oh,
But I think what he was getting at is they would bring the band back for a
Yeah.
tour. And be honest, I think they should. Like, why not try to cash in on this
Right.
freaking money?
That's
get
right.
get a tour with Rat, Poison, Tesla, and
yeah.
another one. You know, name it. That would be a successful tour.
Sure. Yep.
Totally.
Oh, yeah.
If the original members are
Big
there.
Rat's got enough material. They're going to draw
Yeah.
fans.
So
I mean, they have a lot of
Piercy,
stuff.
I think it's in Piercy's lap. I'd be curious whether he'd bring back Cavasso, because he knew the material. He worked well with DiMartini. So it'll be interesting to see if that goes anywhere.
I, for one, I would love to see it.
I would go see it. Though I heard some new live Piercy, and
Yeah,
he's not exactly
top of his game.
No, it's rough.
Yep.
So I don't
Huh.
know.
Well, he
Get
could
what you
get
pay
by.
for.
It'd still be. Well, so for something like that, we always talk about certain members of the band you can't stand or you don't want to watch. Like I would sit and watch Warren the whole time.
Yeah, you pick out something that's
Right.
interesting to you.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
when I watch Blotzer, I always
I'd watch
like Blotzer's playing.
Yeah.
You know, he's not like a Tommy kind of showy, but
No.
he plays cool stuff. Cool
Yeah.
parts.
Yeah.
So that's it for me on
Speaking
news.
of drummers, I read a headline: Wild Mick Brown hasn't
Gave it
picked
up.
up a drumstick in 2+ years. Stopped touring in 2019.
Not mild Steve Brown.
Mild Steve Brown is in Tesla,
You're right.
keeping it strong.
Talk about a role reversal.
We were at Tesla and I was like, Mark, who's the drummer? He's like, it's Mild Steve Brown.
Not to be confused with Wild Mick.
I mean,
He's all right. He's a good drummer.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
Troy Laquetta. I mean, I always prefer to see
No,
the original guy.
no. Let's see if I have anything else. Oh, you know what he said though? I read an interview with him. He was on a podcast called Rim Shots with Sean, whatever that is. So this is what Wild Mick Brown said. I made enough money where I don't have to do anything. And guess what? I don't do anything. I ride a chopper, and that's really my passion is. I do a lot of sleeping, and I don't have anything else to do except enjoy my friends today. That's where I'm at, and I couldn't be more pleased.
Wow.
There you
That's what he's
go.
doing.
Did he make that much
Who
money?
knows Dawkins made that?
Dawkins never even made it to like headline status, did they ever?
And I
They
thought,
were like the ultimate opener.
and I thought Don had a lot of the publishing. Like,
Yeah, I didn't
Right.
think. Though he did some. He played with Nugent for a while, didn't he?
And he was in Lynch Mob for
Lynch
Oh,
Mob.
a
that's
couple
right.
tours.
oh, that's the best.
Yeah.
That's his best drumming, wouldn't you say?
That's probably where he made a lot of his money too. Because
Best
that album
sound.
went like platinum.
Such a good album.
And some of those Dawkins albums sold, like Under Lock and Key was a big album. I was surprised when that album come out, followed up by Tooth and Nail, right? And then,
Tooth and Nail was first,
yeah,
Yep.
and then
then Under Lock and Key.
well, I'm surprised because that was a good album, Under Lock and Key. How come that didn't push them to headline status in arenas back in the day? Because everyone else on their second album was Motley was, Rat was. They're all hitting the arena circuit on their second albums.
You sure they
Dawkins
weren't
puts out the
headlining?
same
They never
quality.
headlined. They were always
They
the opener.
never headlined.
I wonder if it was their label that didn't give them enough.
I don't know. Because that would have been the turn for them. That album would have been their opportunity to get
Yeah.
to the arena status. And the album was good.
Yeah. Though there's
I don't know.
There's a band I liked, loved Lynch, and Brown. Couldn't stand Don.
No, I mean I
More or
wasn't a
less.
big fan of his voice, but he was when he was young, he could certainly
Oh, yeah.
sing.
I
Yeah.
like Pilsen too.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
Pilsen's
Jeff
a
was
great
good.
band. The
Yeah.
music was always great.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's this it felt like they were alienated from the rest of the bands that were kind of. Everyone was hopping over Dawkins.
Derek
Yeah.
raised a good point. Maybe it was the label and the support. I mean,
What were
weren't
they
on
on?
the same?
I
Where it's
don't
a
know.
Chrysalis or
Chrysalis, were
Yeah,
they on that?
Yeah.
Which was a Billy Idol at the. Yeah, I don't know.
Kiss was on that. Weren't they in the early days?
Gee, I don't know. I'd have to look that up.
Look that up, Mark.
Yeah,
Mark's our producer. He's
Let me check that.
he's on the interwebs checking the tour status of.
They were.
One
They were on a
done.
major label, right, through their careers. They weren't like on.
Weren't they on Electric?
All right. Well, Under Lock and Key was on. Yeah, Elektra. I
Yeah,
mean, they're on the
Elektra.
same label as Motley.
Huh?
So, like, did they not want to compete against the Motley tour? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
there's those dynamics that played out in labels where they didn't want to compete against each other. And
Yeah,
I guess the question would be like, who did they open for?
they were opening for everybody.
Oh, I
Every
know.
time I
They
went
were
to see a
always-
concert, Dawkins opened.
I know.
And
Yeah.
it's like, when's this Dawkins' turn? You know, to get. I don't know if how long they would have stayed up there. Like Tesla didn't stay up there
Right.
long. They had an album where they had 9. We went, remember? Worcester. Remember Skio had a broken leg. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
He came out.
Well, they were headlining?
Yeah, Firehouse opened up.
Oh, that's right.
But then they went back down to clubs again
Yeah.
the next year. But
Well, that was 90s, early 90s.
I don't remember. Yeah, probably early. Yeah, 92,
I didn't meet you till
93.
like 93. 92.
Yeah, so the scene was kind of, on its way out. But
Maybe it was lucrative for them as an opener. Maybe they had contract that worked out for them.
Yeah.
Who knows? 2 other quick things. I had Dead Daisies. I'm kind of getting excited for them, and the only thing is they're not doing a show in the New England area. They're just like a straight up rock and roll,
Yeah.
Yeah,
visual,
Bluesy.
bluesy, some good riffs. They do a great cover of
obviously Hughes is out and
yeah.
Karabi's back, right?
Karabi's back. I'll see Karabi at the end of the month acoustically. I'm super psyched about that. Don't be late. Mark.
I don't know if I committed to going there yet, did I?
I don't know if you
No.
have.
I have to check my calendar. That's a Wednesday night? That's a school
Wednesday or a
night.
Thursday. Wednesday.
Might have homework. I don't know.
And then the last thing, Mark and I went and saw Rival Sons. What, if you let that soak in at all,
Good show.
that show
They're one of the greatest live bands I've seen.
is so
Yeah.
freaking good.
The singer
Great
just
singer. Yeah.
And he was sick.
Really?
He was
was
like
sick,
hacking off mic.
Wow.
You
the
could see
drummer was a friggin' machine. They're just great.
They're
great,
so good.
Great band. I'm gonna
And
go up to Maine and see them.
I think I'll go up to Maine and see that too. And it wasn't even that sold out. Like
Yeah.
it was pretty packed.
it was pretty packed, but we had perfect seats. That place we saw him in, Worcester, it was awesome.
Palladium, right?
Oh, some guy, I'm on a Rival Sons bootleg Facebook group. And some guy talked about the Worcester show. And Todd, the keyboard player, he's left the tour for family reasons. He's
Right.
had some incident. Because we were like, where the hell is he? But I made a comment about that. I was at the Worcester show. And some guy goes, hey, I've got the audio of that show. Pretty good. So he shared the link in the Facebook group. So I'm going to take a listen to it. today.
I recorded a little bit of Pressure and Time, crystal clear on my phone. I'll play it for you after. It's like I can't believe how
Oh, at the
clear.
gig?
I could have sat there with my phone and got the whole show, and it'd be flawless as far as
Really?
this, it wasn't all like tweaked out,
Yeah.
So I'll play it for you after. It's like, wow, if I knew that, I probably would have recorded more of the
Yeah.
show.
I think I recorded a piece too. I haven't even looked at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, don't have anything other news wise.
No, I don't have anything else.
I guess we'll jump into the albums.
Sounds good.
So the albums, everyone knows. I tweeted it out and put it on socials. That Twisted, You Can't Stop Rock and Roll. Loverboy, Keep It Up. And Motorhead, Another Perfect Day.
Yep.
So
I got Motorhead on top here, but I can go any way you want.
Sure.
we'll start with Motorhead.
So this is June 1983.
Yep.
This is about the time I started worshiping the devil. So
Oh, nice. You gave that
Wow,
up.
2
though.
years
You-
after me.
I see you've got the priest band on. You wear that. I can't believe. I didn't know you were part of the church now, Dennis. There's a great line. One of the Rival Sun songs. That song they released, Nobody Wants to Die.
Yeah.
And it's the first 2 lines. I forget. He says something about a priest ripping off. I don't even know what that's called. Ripping off his collar.
Oh, that white.
And
yeah.
going AWOL. It's freaking. That's such a
Really?
good song. All right, so Motorhead, go ahead there, Satanist.
well, this is an album that, first of all, just U.S. Billboard 153, so not a lot of success. But again, England, UK reached number 20. So it's amazing how 2 different parts.
The homeland for the
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
true,
that's all
true
it's
that. Yeah. Couple just background here. Fast Eddie left the year, the album before '82.
Yeah, he formed Fastway.
Yep.
So-
At that point.
and then he left Fastway.
He did
Right?
2 albums.
Oh,
No,
okay.
3 albums, right? He did All Fired Up. He did the first one. He did, what was that third one? It got kind of poppy.
Waiting for the
Roar.
Oh, yeah.
And then he...
So lineup, obviously Phil Taylor, drums, Lemmy, but then Robertson.
From Lizzie.
Right? From Lizzie. And comment from Lemmy I thought was interesting where he said that Robertson was more technically efficient than Clark.
But he doesn't have the spirit of him.
Not a good fit. When Lemmy had done an interview and he reflected back on this album and he said that just Robertson was just so difficult to deal with.
Well, he was saying that the guy was coming out with these outrageous clothes on, like tap dancing shoes, just to, piss off Lemmy, because, Lemmy's look was just, die-hard freaking
leather
and boots, and he's coming out with, like, shorts and tap shoes.
And refusing to play some of the older material.
Well,
he would argue with them, like, as far as, like...
The set list?
Yeah. It was just...
Well, I think it was Lemmy that said he was doing that. He was dressing the way he was dressing to separate himself from the rest of the band, so the fans knew he was a hired gun and not in the band.
Right.
Yep. So I may have told you, Mark, but Dennis, you don't know, and maybe I didn't. Did I tell you I met Lemmy and how I met Lemmy?
Yeah, in Hollywood, right?
Wow.
So I lived in California for a couple of years trying to do music. Then I came home and moved back home. A buddy moved out there, and he's like, hey, come on out. I'm like, geez, all right. So I went out for a couple of weeks, and I was at the Rainbow one night upstairs at the bar, and over in the corner, he's playing Pac-Man. So I actually didn't even realize it was Lemmy. Like, I just thought there was some
you're not expecting to
dirty
see
guy living up there. Apparently,
he lived there.
He lived there. They put a statue up of him there after he died. Wow. But I went over and played a little Pac-Man with him.
No kidding.
Because they had the two side, you sit on either end.
Yep.
Played a little video game with him. Shot the breeze just a little bit. Because I didn't really know. I wasn't into Motorhead.
Yeah.
So I just had no idea.
Right.
So
nice guy?
Yeah. Just had no idea.
Wow.
Well, when you're in L.A., you never know who you're going to bump into there. It's almost more not normal to bump into a celebrity of some sort, right?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So
it's an acquired taste, his vocals, right?
I'll say right now, I was pleasantly surprised at this album. So,
okay.
Anyways,
yeah, we'll get into that.
There wasn't a lot of sales, and Lemmy did say on a documentary that working with it was a nightmare doing this thing. He passed in 2015. Get this, which I read this and I was like, that just sucks. Like, he passed in his apartment of cancer and heart failure at 70. Like, his apartment. And I'm like, this guy was like the Godfather.
Well, right? I think he had an apartment in L.A., but I think he had a home in England.
Oh, he did?
But he used to like hanging out in L.A., so he just... I've seen the inside of that apartment. They had an interview with him in there. And it's like he lives in like a Hard Rock cafe, the way it looks in there.
Right.
And it's right above the whiskey or something.
There's the hills that go up behind there. So, yeah.
Yeah, he's not far in... but I think he likes L.A., but I think he had a home. I think he still has a home in England, right? I don't know.
But I was just like, how did he, did he make a boatload of money? And then I was like, how come I never saw him on a Motley tour or,
right?
One of those big tours?
I don't know. I've never seen him. I don't think we've ever seen him live.
Me neither. Again, I think it's an acquired taste. His vocals are,
yeah, it's real.
Yeah, it's tough.
Raw, and but it fit the music.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah. He read a quote. He said he wasn't like scared of death, and he said death is inevitable, isn't it? You become more aware that when you get to my age, he says, I don't worry about it. I'm ready for it. When I go, I want to go doing the things I do best. If I die tomorrow, I couldn't complain. It's been good. So, and then after, there was a bunch of tributes to him. I didn't realize the Grammys did a big tribute to him. the Download Festival that year named the main stage the Lemmy stage.
Wow.
Well, he was certainly influential on how many metal and bands, Metallica.
When did Motorhead start? I don't even know.
70s, right?
Yeah.
They've been around.
Late 70s.
Yeah, another band like Metallica. They never took Motorhead on tour. Like that would have.
They started.
Maybe they did.
Wow,
I
you
don't
know
know.
what? They only started a year before 77. I thought they were earlier than that.
I always thought Motorhead was more like a heavy punk.
Yeah.
Than they were bluesy hard rock metal.
Yep.
You know what I mean? When you listen to these songs.
Although some of these songs, I was like, these are just heavier, faster DC songs.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm sorry I didn't mention this earlier, but the producer, Tony Platt, really not necessarily a guy known for producing. He was an engineer who worked with Mutt Lange. So, and this was an opportunity for him to, I guess, produce, sit in that chair. That's
nice.
Interesting.
All right, you want to get into it?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Back at the Funny Farm.
So, obviously Speed, a hard charging song. I thought it did, there were pieces of Ace of Spades in this.
Was it Ace of Spades? I wrote Iron Fist. I couldn't remember which one it was.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a song. I'm like, wait a minute, I got the right album on here? Of course, it wasn't something else, but it had started like that. I don't remember if it was Ace of Spades or Iron Fist, one of those.
I wrote, this is the first time I've sat down and listened to Motorhead.
Wow.
Like I've heard, the popular tunes, but I've never really sat down and listened. So
Yeah, good opener.
I said,
Big
love the
track.
main riff. Solo was a little out there, but I dig the tune, and I said, nice tight ending too. I liked how they ended the song.
Yeah.
All right, Shine.
This is, I think, one of their. There were two singles. I believe this was one of them. Singles. Relatively speaking, I thought Robertson's playing, his tone. There's a little bit more melody in this song. They were trying to maybe get something that was going to be played a lot.
Yeah. I liked Lemmy singing on this. I don't know if it's the phrasing or just he sounded a little uncharacteristic of his typical way he sings Motorhead songs, It's a cool guitar part in there. I forget.
Yeah, it's a great little riff.
Yeah, the riff was cool.
It's
And
simple,
the solo
but it
was
works.
cool. It was a good tune. I liked it.
Yeah, I wrote great solo. I said this song was put together just as good as any other '80s rock tune. Like it was.
Yeah,
it was good.
I thought it was a good tune.
I think it just comes down to you either like Lemmy or you don't like Lemmy.
Right.
Well, yeah,
You're into
but
that
you
or
could
not
say
into
for
that.
a lot of singers, right? There
Right.
was some good music, and I just don't like the singer. You know what I mean?
Yep. I said it was a more bluesy type tune. Could be a like a ZZ Top tune. It was very bluesy that way. All right, cool. Dancing on Your Grave.
I got okay song. Different style than the typical Motorhead songs. You know what I mean? There's almost like a little more production on this album.
I said it was the chorus was a structured pop song.
It's very. You could tell they spent a lot more time on this album
Right.
than previous Motorhead albums. The old ones sound like they're in the garage, right?
Yeah.
Hit play, go. With this, you can tell it's more structured.
Yeah,
Which I don't know if that is a good thing for this band.
What was this? The sixth album?
Uh,
I think so.
Yeah. Yes, I
Yeah.
believe you're right. Yep.
yeah.
I
So
I thought the riff was pretty good. Robertson. I don't know.
he's bringing a totally different
Yeah.
feel to this band with his playing.
Yep.
It's polished.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if Motorhead and polished go together.
Go together.
So it's almost like they're fighting with each other.
Right.
Yep. All right. Next tune is Rocket.
Yeah, decent track.
There's a piano in it. I thought I heard.
Another
one of the tunes. I think. Yeah, I said I think I hear keys in this song.
Yeah.
Yeah, see
Yeah.
that. And that's not conducive to Motorhead.
Right.
I mean, what are these diehard metal Motorhead fans thinking when they're hearing keyboards on a Motorhead album?
But the song worked in that the chorus was very Motorhead-like. It was a like rock anthem type thing.
Yeah. Then they had a cool halftime change in it, I think.
Yep.
Right.
That was kind of neat.
Oh,
The song was decent. I just think they're polishing them too much, I think, for them. This is a street band, man. This is he's about as hardcore as you get.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So you got to be careful how much production you put into because this band's losing its identity almost with this production.
You think they were seeing the success of Maiden and
maybe,
Judas and all that with some, living after midnight? It's like, all right, we can write a song like that.
Yeah, but they're grittier. I just think Motorhead is just a gritty. Listen to the tone of that bass. He's almost like he plays it like a lead guitar. It's almost like it's not even a bass.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's signature. When you hear that, you're like, that's Motorhead.
Yeah, not a lot of chemistry. I mean, Robertson is not fitting in.
No.
And we're hearing that with some of this music,
And I did say, this is the song I said, a lot of these riffs feel and sound like DC, but just faster.
Right.
Which was interesting. All right, next one. One Track Mind.
Slowed down considerably, right? The tempo.
I
didn't mind it.
I love the groove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the little riff. Very 70s groove.
Yeah. I didn't think it was bad. It's
there's great
song.
guitar work on here
5
from
minutes,
Robertson.
55.
I just don't know if it fits a Motorhead album.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like a Thin Lizzy album at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can hear
Right.
the influences from that. Yeah.
I just didn't like the chorus. That groove and the riff and the verse. Loved the chorus wasn't a big fan of.
Yeah.
But I did right here. I'm actually shocked as this is not what I was expecting when I sat down with this.
Right.
Yeah.
Which isn't always a bad thing, right?
No,
But
and when I say I'm shocked, like you guys may have been shocked because you knew Motorhead more than I did, and were shocked that it wasn't sounding raw and dirty Motorhead. I was just shocked that I said to my wife, I'm like, she goes, "What are you reviewing?" Because I had my headphones on. I said Motorhead. She goes, "Would I know any of those songs?"
no, probably not.
And
And
it's
to tell you the truth, I don't have a deep knowledge of Motorhead as far as I know who's in the band. I know the hits that were on MTV in the day, and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know their catalog. I don't know anything. But I know what they're known for isn't the sound on this album,
Yeah.
But that's not to say it's bad. I just don't know if it's conducive with them, and what they're about.
All right. What did I? Another Perfect Day.
I thought this was like one of the better songs on the album. I liked it. The guitar tone. I thought it was a good riff. The solo.
Wow. I wrote funny. So far, I think this is the weakest song on the album. Sorry, Dennis.
No, that's fine.
I don't even have it on my
again,
list.
I'm not a big fan of Motorhead, so it's I when listening to this, you're finding things that I don't know.
Yeah. Mark?
I skipped that song.
He skipped the song. He didn't even have.
How did I skip another One Track Mind? I went right to
Did
March.
you lift up your needle and move it on the album before you?
One Track Mind? No, I don't have that one.
Were you scratching like Motorhead album?
I don't have it. I don't know.
All right, so what's the
Well,
next
you go
one
first
had?
on Marching
Yeah,
Off to
yeah.
War. What do you got?
I like the rhythm of this track. More good guitar play from Robertson. I mean, he's playing great. Just not sure this is Motorhead style. Very cleaned up sound. I don't know. I mean, this sounds more like a Robertson solo album than a Motorhead album. And he just grabbed Lemmy to play bass on it and sing. And, it's not sounding Motorhead to me, but
Right.
I wrote another straight ahead rocker. I can't believe Lemmy's Against War. And And I said, again, I'm shocked at how well these songs are put together.
Right.
But they put
I
the
just-
time in, obviously.
Yeah. I was not expecting it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, nothing to add here. You
Same.
guys nailed it. Yep.
got mine.
See, by
Tales
the
of
time I
Glory.
get to this song, I'm starting to really
Piss
realize
you
how
off.
much Robertson influence is having on this album. I'm like, wow, this is turning into his album.
Well, that probably goes along the lines. I just have one line. It says, this song seems very poppy for Motorhead.
Yep.
Yeah, it's Robertson all over
exactly.
this, which, you know, the way I look at Lemmy, I look like he's a strong force. Like, how did he bend to this guy, to this point?
Well, I think everything we read, though, after the fact, he was like, I hated this album and hated the whole making of it.
So a little background of why Robertson is in the band. Phil Taylor, the
Yeah, he
drummer,
wanted him in it.
is a big. Yeah, he brought him in. Phil Taylor was a huge Thin Lizzy fan, and he followed them, and he was buddies with Robertson, and he just kind of introduced him into the band, and I think Lemmy went with it. And didn't work out.
Why didn't he get Sykes?
That Sykes is not going to work in that. Oh,
I
what
know.
kind of guy works in that? Oh, obviously Clark, right?
Yeah, well, at this time, Sykes is with Coverdale, right? 82? Or
Three.
he's Tigers of Pantang. Or no, he
Wait.
was probably rehearsing with, at this point, with Coverdale.
Lizzie or
Why?
Whitesnake, yeah.
Is
Yeah.
Slide It In coming up this year?
Well, we did Thunder and Lightning with Thin
Oh.
Lizzy, and that was a few months back.
That was Sykes.
Yeah.
And that was Sykes. So he's I think at this point he's
Transitioning.
probably working with Coverdale. Yeah.
He wouldn't fit Motorhead.
No, I'm just.
You need a
I'm
guy
just
like
joking.
Angus Young, just somebody who's just got a raw kind of.
CC DeVille.
That was my next.
Oh,
Right.
speaking of CC, let me just interject. Nuno on that interview talks about CC like perfect. Like he goes, a lot of people shit on CC DeVille. He fits that band,
course
fits
he
those
does.
songs, writes those songs that were huge hits. He goes, CC's perfect. He goes, I went and saw them on the tour, on the stadium tour. He goes, I loved watching him. The guy is full of energy, fits that band. Like
And he's not that bad of a guitar player.
no, but I was just, and he did that Eddie tribute.
Well,
CC
look
did.
at
Yeah,
But I
nice.
was just shocked at how much Nuno was a virtuoso talking about CC DeVille.
Right.
Well,
CC
yeah,
was probably like, yeah.
exactly. But nothing speaks more to that than when they brought Kotzen in. Talk about
Oh, yeah.
this, not the formula not working anymore
Right.
for Poison. Not that they weren't like almost like this Robertson, right? It's like
Yeah.
the wrong guy in the wrong band. It's a half decent album, but is it really a Poison album? Is it what the die-hard Poison
Yeah.
fans expect? No.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know if Robinson was messing around with the drummer of Motorhead's wife, but
Yeah.
So the only thing I got on this too is I think their rhythms are getting repetitive in the verses here. I'm starting to hear the same kind of.
I think you do with Motorhead, though.
Yeah, but this is Robertson, and he's still almost like repeating himself in a lot of these songs in the verses. So,
Yep.
and like I said, for Motorhead, this is just a little too cleaned up and produced.
Yeah.
You know?
All right, last song then. Perfect title. Die, you bastard.
No, what about Tales of Glory?
Did we not do that? No, we
Nope.
just did that.
No, I got mine. We just did, right?
Oh.
Yeah, Tales of Glory.
Oh, Tales of Glory. I don't have anything.
Yeah, this is.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, you missed one too.
Yeah. Well, what do you got for this?
I just got
bait.
where did
Lemmy.
Lemmy's signature bass song
Yeah.
go?
Yeah.
And it's starting to go like I think I heard one song with that bass tone, right? And then
Yeah.
he's pretty much buried in the mix. It's like you can't even hear the guy.
Yeah. Not really a great song.
And I got more songs that are starting to sound the same.
Yep.
Not that bad, just repetitive. I said this music would almost suit like Junkyard, a band like that. better. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Have that bluesy.
Fast song, 2 minutes 56
Yeah,
seconds.
in and out.
Yeah.
So you got nothing? You didn't
I have
know.
nothing. I don't know why. I have actually those titles blended as one, and it doesn't read right. I don't know what I did. All right, then Die You Bastard.
I said, well, Lemmy's bass is back for a quick second at the beginning of the tune.
Right.
And then it looks like they took the fader and slid it down again on him.
Right.
Too polished for me. Robertson, good as usual. You know, he's been good throughout this album. Just not Motorhead
Right.
good. You know?
Good tone.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he can play. And I didn't realize he joined Thin Lizzy when he was 18. I mean, that's pretty...
Just not
Impressive.
a good fit.
No, and this is the only... He was one and done, right? I don't think he...
No, he was out.
was out of
yeah.
there.
Yeah, he actually did the tour for the previous album. Fast Eddie was gone before the next tour, before the tour from the last album. Robertson did the tour, and then he got in the studio, and then that's when, they started hating each other and stuff.
That's nutty. I just wrote lots of guitar playing, good riff,
Yep.
amazing title.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, come on. All right.
Yeah.
Say what you will. Does it hold up? Dennis.
Nope.
It holds up from a quality standpoint, right? As far as the production of an album. For a Motorhead album, no.
I said yes. I said I could listen to it again. And again, I don't have
Yeah.
the background of Motorhead
Right.
that maybe others do. I said I was really surprised at the riffs and the well-structured songs. Like,
Yeah. I mean,
I never knew. I always thought as Lemmy as just a screamer,
Well,
just,
he is.
just punk, in your face type of stuff. But these were like a lot of these tunes were like,
Well, I think the producer,
Good tone.
Robertson, just went behind his back and said, this is the album we're writing.
yeah,
And you're singing it. So I was kind of on the fence with it because the production is good. The songs aren't bad. But the question I got to ask is, when you were talking about do albums hold up, what's the percentage of criteria on an album? Like, where's that threshold before you get to this? Like, how many great songs and good guitar solos and good drumming and great vocals? There's got to be a percentage, right, of good to bad. Like if you said, there's only like one good song in this album. The guitar solos, maybe three good ones. Drumming, maybe he got one intro who's got a cool drum part. So you add it up, it's like, all right, so 40% of the album is quality. So you say no, right? It doesn't hold up.
I use a very scientific formula.
Well, what's the criteria?
Mine is, would I listen to it again?
Yeah.
Now,
right.
today. Would I listen to it today?
Yeah.
And I would. If I go out mowing my lawn, I'm like,
Yeah, see, I don't think I would put this on.
Right.
I don't know.
Then you're a no.
I'm going to say no on this.
All right, two
good
no's
to
and a
have
But I'm not a
disagreement.
Motorhead fan anyway.
I'm
I don't
not-
think I would put
that's
any
my-
Motorhead
Well,
out.
so that's the thing. I'm not a Motorhead fan, and I
you
think
think
that's
you would
why
play
I
that.
like it.
Because it's
you know what
not
I mean?
traditional Motorhead.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Cool.
So do you know any Motorhead diehards? Like,
Nah. I mean, we know like celebrity diehards like Lars Ulrich and
Right.
Yeah.
Metallica and those guys. But as far as people I know, I don't know anybody.
Yeah, I
that's
didn't
into
either.
Acquired
Motorhead.
taste.
It's like everybody respects the band, knows the band.
yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're the godfathers, right? And they influence a lot of people. But I don't listen to them, and I don't know people that really listen.
Yeah.
Well, they're obviously not around anymore.
And me as a singer, like, I'd be the furthest to say I'm going to listen to Motorhead for singing or anything.
Yeah,
but,
it's not your wheelhouse.
But it was like, it was like a DC thing for me. I'm also not a fan of Brian Johnson because I could never ever come close
Sing
to
like
singing like that.
Right.
But I as a tunes as a whole together, yeah,
But you respect the band because of that give a fuck attitude they
Right,
had.
sure.
You know, you
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that about them. You know what I mean? They didn't
having the
bend
mic
to the.
up a little bit, like,
I mean, he looked awesome. You know what I mean?
yeah. All right, what do we do next? Dennis, you pick.
Here
How
we go.
about we do Sister?
All right.
Twisted. All right, so Twisted Sister on your uniform. No, you can't stop rock and roll. And if I remember right, we've reviewed a Twisted album, and if I also remember right, Dennis is a big fan.
Yeah, I like the earlier stuff. Yeah. This was interesting because this was, to me, one of their best release. Just U.S. Billboard 130, so not a lot of recognition there. In the U.K., it reached 14.
It was released in the U.K. before the U.S., I read.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
For an
You
American band,
see like
weird.
the whole new wave of British heavy metal and the impact. It's just being embraced in Europe. You know what I mean? Before the United States. But
That's true.
the other thing I thought was interesting, it did reach gold status as far as sales in 1995. 1995.
It's a long way away.
Yeah. Yeah.
It took to 95 for that album.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's, you got to figure, after Stay Hungry and that stuff, they went back and bought it.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's
Well,
true.
yeah. I mean, I'm looking at Stay Hungry with 5 times platinum.
Yeah.
So people go back and, what else they got out there,
So just broad statement here over the this is, like that last album we reviewed, there was discussion about them trying to find an identity. There was music that was all over the place, and so forth. I think here, this is Twisted Sister going full on metal. I believe.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is them pretty much putting a stamp on their signature sound. This is what we're going to be.
It's foreshadowing. This is D foreshadowing his whole goal of me against the fucking world.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yep.
some of these songs even like foreshadow the stuff on Stay Hungry. Like, this is the prequel.
Right.
That's the sense I got.
And what irony, we just talked about a band whose lead singer was such the identity of the band, and here we have a similar situation where this is Dee Snider.
He wrote every song.
Wrote every song. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, in his vocal, I mean, everything, the whole band is him. It's amazing.
My first comment.
Well, wasn't it that we did discuss that same thing with Dio Holy Diver, right?
Yeah,
He wrote it all, and
a good chunk of it. Yeah.
But nobody's identifying French or Perrault as being great musicians as far as like a guitar player or whatever, like a top guitar player. You go to Piercy and Rat, and you can talk about DeMartini, or you talk about Don Dokken, but then you can say, well, gee, George Lynch, right?
well,
I don't think
Ojeda
it's-
doesn't come up in
Yeah, you're not
conversation.
sitting there going, J.J. French is a phenomenal guitar player.
This was more of a cohesive. This was a band.
Yeah,
Right? It was
true.
all of them
Right.
together to make Twisted Sister.
right.
Right. No one overshadowed. Well, obviously, D was the
D
focal
was-
point of that band.
So the producer, Derek,
Yes.
Stuart Epps, EPPS. That's what
Oh, I'm thinking of something else. Go ahead.
I worked with Elton John, mostly soft pop rock in the 70s.
Oh, then he walks into these
D
guys.
must have punched him in the face. Like,
He's like, what did I do wrong
yeah.
to get this gig?
Who are you?
Yeah. Well, it's tough because we bring a producer with that kind of background, you get that fear of this guy going to try and soften us up and
Yeah.
overproduce
Right.
it, and
I don't think
which it
anyone's
didn't.
molding.
I think
and-
D had enough
Yeah.
clout and enough. I'm sure he stood his ground.
Yeah. All right. Anything else on the album?
Nope.
All right. The Kids Are Back. First song.
Ooh, heavy, great opener, simple riff. This is all D. Snider. I mean, lengthy solo. I thought, which I thought I thought it was a good song.
Yeah. Yep, decent track. Good drum mix. His snare was like a cannon.
Oh, was it? I didn't.
Yeah, he had a nice drum mix on this album. Obviously D's powerful vocals, right? Good. Yeah, like you said, good opening track.
Right.
Nice. I wrote, my first comment was, damn, do I like Dee's voice. I mean, I liked it anyways, but, I mean, you hear it coming out strong on this.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was a great opener. I thought it would be I wanted a little more up-tempo, but very, and it also said it's a very simple song, but it's Twisted Sister through and through with a big chorus. Is this his version of The Boys Are Back in Town?
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely
Then I wrote
see the title.
Yeah. Could have used more up-tempo for the opener. And this song was part of the 2010 Jackass 3D movie opening credits.
Wow.
That's how it was?
Yeah. Go figure. All right. Anything else?
No.
Nope.
Like a Knife in the Back. Not to be confused with a bullet in the back.
Good track. More in your face, D. I mean, guy comes full double barreled, right? Yeah.
Heavy riff.
Good solo section. I think when the solo was going on, they changed the rhythm or something. It was pretty cool. Yeah, decent tune.
3 minutes.
Yeah,
Wow.
and quick.
I wrote interesting, kind of a little funky intro. So again, I listened to these with headphones on, like full-on headphones, cans, and the mix totally changed after the first song. Just like dropped out, wasn't the same,
Yeah.
which is very odd.
There was another album we did that the
did the
mix
same
was
thing.
like, did they
I think it was the
record us on different days and they
kicks.
forgot the levels?
Yeah. Something was weird with it. I wrote at the very end, okay song.
Yeah.
Ride to Live, Live to Ride.
I like this song. I kind of dug it. Man, I don't know. What'd you guys think?
I got Look Out Castle, D's coming to join the fight.
Oh, yeah.
There's Mark.
More in your face, D.
Yep.
Decent song though. He did good on this one.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he's got some good guitar.
Wrote rolled right in from the Knife in the Back tune. Kind of was like a.
But it had to gallop, right?
Yeah, they had.
You know, we're going.
And then his choruses. It sounds like he's trying to be. Dennis, you'd be able to comment more on this, but it sounds like the choruses. He's trying to be a bit more British metal, Maiden,
Right.
or the.
well, the song
Right.
is kind of
Good point.
Storm in the
speaks
Sky.
to that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Good observation.
But it's-
European, because a lot of that came from Europe.
Right.
That style, like galloping, kind of bass rhythm
Yep.
Right.
line, you know.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Next one is I'm Me.
Yeah, this was like one of the singles, actually. The two singles, it was Kids Are Back originally, and then this song. I didn't really like this song. It kind of like an anthem.
Well, that's what I got.
Stupid lyrics.
Typical rebellion
gonna
anthem
take
sister track.
Well, so that's where I was saying, like these songs are like foreshadowing
Right.
the next album of we're not going to take it. I want to rock. You know,
Yeah.
don't let me down. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of foreshadowing that stuff. I wrote classic D fighting for people's rights. Like,
Well, that's who
this
he is.
This is
Yeah.
him.
He's like a protester.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
for
Like-
the individual,
Yeah.
not for like. Yeah, he's all about individual rights. And,
Right.
You know, it comes through in this song. It seems like a song they threw together in about 3 minutes, though.
Right.
And I never knew he wrote all these tunes, but until then. So
Yeah, it was okay track. Nothing great. Not a fan of the style of the way that song.
Agreed. Yeah.
yeah,
They could tend to have. I think I mentioned that we did the Under the Blade album, like almost rock opera-y, theatrical, like
yep,
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Alice Cooper.
He kind of
Yeah.
he's got that influence, you know, Alice
Yep.
Cooper kind of theatrical. You can almost see this being in a
wait, D
Play.
was theatrical. Wait, a
yeah.
second.
Yeah. But without even seeing the guy,
Oh yeah,
you just listen to these songs, you can like picture
yep,
what it's going to be like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Which I'm not a huge fan of, like rock opera,
no,
you know, and he tends to dive into in and out of that, you know.
I agree. All right, the power and the glory.
I like Perot's drumming on this. He had some double bass stuff in
But it was weird. It wasn't like a lot.
It was quick. It was like
Right.
It was just like
And
a
then it
little
was done.
piece in the. I don't know if it was in the solo or the guitar solo.
It's like I think the bridge. Where did I write? I wrote.
Change in tempo.
But it was tasty. He just put it in for like a little bit.
Yeah.
I said that this would make a good opening track, more than the opening track.
Probably.
You know, maybe
Yeah.
they should have put this first.
Sure.
I think the lyrics on this are a little on the cheesy side,
Yeah.
but it was a half decent tune.
Yep.
4 minutes, 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're talking about my sex life, Dennis, all the time when you're naming these.
Well, we'd have to knock 2 minutes off of that.
Yeah.
got
Oh,
it.
well, the last song you wrote about 2 minutes. That was about a minute and a half
Do
more.
with the lyrics, the power and the glory.
Usually, we're not going to take it. All right. What's the next tune? We're gonna make it.
So I think this, when I heard this again, it just struck me as like almost like a rainbow riff. Richie Blackmore.
Well, no, the riff. Go listen to it again. The Beastie Boys stole this riff
Oh, they
for "You Got to Fight for Your Right to Party."
Huh.
You listen to it. The Beastie Boys just made it into a more chord, like a power chord riff. D just played it differently, or they played it differently.
Yeah, I can.
Go listen to it. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
We'll listen to it after the podcast, and I'll show you. It's like, oh my god. this
See,
is the Beastie Boys.
my opinion is, where are the riffs? Like, I think of a riff like the opening of Unchained.
Well, they don't have that because D's
And all
writing
these
it.
are just like power chords.
Well, D's writing them.
Right.
You know, these long chords. It's like, where are the riffs? Like, you know, I like riff. Is that what a riff is? I mean, I'm a drummer.
No. So this, I will say this.
You know, like the opening of "Lay It Down" from Rat.
So-
I like whatever that is.
Like Mike would be able to comment on this way more, but so these aren't riffs. These are like chord
progressions, and
chord progression riffs, and they're not like standalone guitar parts riffs. Like "Lay It Down" or "Unchained."
yeah, they're like identifiable.
Yeah. They're not that. And I think it's because D's writing the songs. He's probably not a riff master. He's writing
Yeah.
chord changes and progressions to write a song.
He's not a guitar player.
Right.
Yeah, because there isn't. Like, this isn't a guitar player's
So that-
album. You know what I
No.
mean?
And that-
Like, you
No.
don't put this on for some great guitar playing, right?
And that goes back to my comment last podcast, I believe, where I was talking about Nicky writing all the Motley stuff. I'm like, I've never seen the guy play guitar. Now, was he writing the chords and the progressions and filling out the chorus? And then Mick was writing like riff intros off of those? Like, I have a lot of questions.
I don't know. He must have just been writing, you know, playing the notes on the bass and the chords,
Or
and
on
then
the
just
guitar.
showing the Mick, this is what I'm
Yeah.
playing on bass, this is how the song goes.
Right.
And that could be the same thing here, but they never got to the riff part, like you're saying, Mark.
Yeah, I just wish it was more of that,
Yeah.
you know?
And that's what, to be honest, I think that's what the 90s, you know, quote unquote grunge rock was.
But that was intentional.
But they didn't have riffs like, you know, Rat, Poison, whatever. They had more of this
Chord
style of
progression.
chord progression, melodies, you know, that type of stuff.
That's why it sucked.
Tell us how you feel.
I don't know. Well, I mean, I liked Alice in Chains' interpretation, right?
Yeah,
I
well,
mean-
Jerry definitely did some riffing.
Yeah.
But you think of the others.
But it was intentional. It's like, we're going to do completely opposite of everything that was going on in the 80s.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, they're dressing like this, we're dressing like that. They're playing like this, we're playing like that. They're into this, we're into that. You know what I mean? It's an intentional, you know, separation for these bands in the 90s, right?
Yeah. Yep. All right, next song. What was that song? I don't even remember.
I've had enough.
That's
Wait,
what
so-
we're on.
That's
So-
the new one.
Did I say I wrote Yep, Beastie Boys riff. I want to go back to We're Gonna Make It.
Oh.
I think Dee's lyrics, like We're Gonna Make It, like I think his drive was like so much more than anyone else in the band. Like we're gonna make it, and like
Right.
his lyrics were all based around that. And I wrote again another foreshadowing of the Stay Hungry album.
Right.
But anyways, all right, sorry. Next song. I've had enough.
I don't know.
I wrote
I like D on this one though.
Yeah, it's a fun song, I guess.
You hear how it
Probably
starts,
great
though?
at the time.
starts like Some Kind of Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bass part. Yeah.
Well, I don't need.
Right.
I thought they were gonna break into.
It definitely got that going on. I wrote that down, like the bass part. I got AJ with some double bass in that too.
Yes, I wrote. Mark, do you hear double bass accents?
That's what it was, accents. Like,
Yeah.
not full double bass.
Nope.
Just an accent little thing. That's the one I was thinking in the other song.
Yeah. I had a question for you in this song, Mark.
And I said Ojeda was pretty good on this one, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he was a good guitar player. I just don't think they gave him enough.
French did most of the solos.
Oh, was it French?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Oh, I don't know. I thought Ojeda was more the...
Guess what? I don't know either.
But it did seem like they let him loose.
Right.
Like they didn't let him really go, you know?
Yeah. I wrote halfway through the song. I was done with it.
Yeah.
Like I just had enough. It wasn't. I didn't care for it.
Yeah. Oh, would you have a question about it?
No, my question was. I wrote here, Mark. Do you hear little double bass accents?
Oh, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So that was
Yeah.
my question. I'll Take You Alive rather than Dead.
See, that had a riff, like not a riff. Well, the other type of riff, whatever they call it. I don't know what they call it.
Power riff.
Power riff, maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna
Metal
call it.
song.
Mike,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
would you call it?
It wasn't a chord, you know, like just chords. It was like we say, like the intro to, you know, Lay It Down, or what was the other one they had? They had a great intro.
Who? Round and Round?
Rat. No, the other one off Invasion.
Oh, I'd have to look.
You're in Love. You know what I mean?
You're
Oh,
in
yeah.
Love, yeah.
You know who wrote all those?
Piercy?
Piercy.
Yeah. But he let...
Well, I don't think he did Lay It Down, but I think he did You're in Love, Think You're Tough, a lot of the stuff off
So he
EP.
wrote those riffs?
Yep.
Yeah, he plays guitar.
Yeah,
I
he-
mean,
Yeah.
not, you know.
He
writes
doesn't
the
play
music.
like Dave Martini does.
No,
No,
of course
no.
not. No, he's not. Yeah, he just, he
But
plays
he must have wrote that
Yeah.
intro to Lay It Down, right?
No, I don't think he did that.
Oh, he didn't?
I don't want to say it's tech. I mean, it's a big riff. I think that was Warren.
Yeah. Well, you look at his fingers like in the
Oh, yeah.
video, and it's like, how does he spread his fingers that freaking far apart?
Yeah, that's a great riff.
Yeah.
I wrote this song seems like the opening track, but the riff definitely seems pretty straightforward. But the tail end of it is pretty good. There's like a little lick he does at the tail end of the riff that's pretty good. But I like it much better than some of their other ones, whatever that is. Dennis, do you have any?
Nah, you guys summed it up there.
Yeah, I just had a note here that
3 minutes.
D
quick
was an
song.
angry dude back then. Huh? It's just like everything he's singing about, just like, fuck you.
Well, they've been through a lot
Everything.
at this point, right? I mean, they were a bar band for... you know,
Yeah. He's
New
just
York.
angry.
Yeah.
Or he was.
I don't even know if it was anger. Like he just seems like he was.
It's just
he
not
was-
gonna take
He was
people's
the
shit.
fighter for the everyday guy.
Yeah.
You know. That's what it seems like, and that was. I think he based the whole band around that.
You're right.
I mean, definitely with the
Yeah.
next.
Well, I remember
album.
an interview with him, like after, you know, Stay Hungry and, you know, what was it? Triple Platinum or whatever that
Yeah.
hell it was. And somebody asked him, you know, why aren't you singing songs about, you know, like the stuff on this album? He goes, it's hard to be pissed off when you're living in a $5 million home, hanging out around your pool, sipping a margarita.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Let's not forget, this is the same guy that had me thrown out of the rock pile for taping his Widowmaker show.
Yeah.
Then
And my
your-
brother.
Then your brother came right out after me.
They used his head to open the door.
I'm out there by myself on the stoop, and next thing I know, the door crashes open, and Steve comes up.
Rolling up. They threw him out. They both had each leg.
He's like, Derek, what are you out here for? I'm like, I was trying to tape the show, and he saw me.
He saw the light.
Yeah, I had the little. It was an old like Walkman recorder,
Oh,
and I
Jesus.
was holding it up, you know.
Oh, they saw the light.
Oh
on it.
yeah, and he freaking. I was right in front,
Oh,
and he
wow.
just threw me out.
Wow.
Had a roadie throw me out. Get out of here! And I think they took the tape.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
'cause
did
I
they?
don't.
Oh,
I would have
yeah.
kept that.
That'd been cool to have.
Yeah,
That first album was great.
I mentioned that on Twitter. Someone was talking about D, and I was like, "Yeah, I remember when he threw me out of a rock club." All right, what are we on?
You're not alone.
You're not alone. Wow.
I didn't think this. Here's the ballad. Right?
Have they ever done a ballad? It seems like
This might be the first one.
Yeah, this is about his wife, right?
yeah.
Yeah, showing his soft, sensitive side, you know. Not a bad song, though.
It's not. It was a typical '80s ballad, but
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, it was okay. It just comes out of nowhere after he's yelling and screaming about rights, and next thing you know, he kind of blows
Right.
into this song.
I said not a bad tune for the ballad. Like the chorus was really
Right.
good.
Yeah,
I said I like.
I got catchy chorus.
Yep, like the guitar work going into the chorus and the riff going into the chorus.
Yeah, it was a good tune.
Well, all right. Next one. You Can't Stop Rock and Motherfucking Roll.
So this is the classic song, right? The best song on the album. I think we
Yeah.
all agree. I mean, maybe not. There was a video, I believe, for this, wasn't there?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
video's
where they're
great.
all in this, like I mean,
They're in the back of a van jamming, right? They're
Yeah,
all
you
stuffed
you
in there
visually-
playing.
Yeah, jean jackets
Oh,
and
yeah,
stuff.
it's great.
I mean, to me, this is a classic. It's like one of those when we did. It falls into that category of like period defining in terms of hard rock at the time. Like if you could visualize, like I think when we did Crocus, we had Eat the what was the song off of that? Eat the Rich or
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good tune.
And then you've got Thin Lizzy, Cold Sweat, and then you've got Accept, Balls to the Wall, and then you've got Twisted Sister, You Can't Stop Rock and Roll. To me, it's like that soundtrack, of that period. Classic, I think, song. Like it a lot.
I think it's their best song they've ever written.
Yeah.
That's my favorite song.
Yeah.
And you watch these videos. This one, The Price. Remember that song, The Price?
Yeah.
I think it's off of Stay Hungry. And they're just in street clothes. And I'm going, they look a lot better with jeans and jean jackets and leather. I go, that would have been a cool image for them. I'm wondering if that stage novelty got so corny it hurt that band a little bit.
But was it? They weren't doing the Stay Hungry look now, were they?
Yeah.
Oh, they were.
Yeah, they were still.
I thought you said they were just in jean jackets in the back.
No, in the video.
Yeah,
The video
okay.
for Can't Stop Rock and Roll, they just got jeans on and leather jackets. They just look like a cool freaking rock
But
band.
live, they were doing.
They
the
put in
more-
the makeup. Yeah, they were
Okay.
doing that.
You mentioned foreshadowing, right?
Yeah.
And I think this is really D saying, I'm going to represent the industry, or I'm going to represent hard rock.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
this is a song.
Stay
that's
tuned.
I'm going to Congress.
He did.
I know.
And he shut him down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he was good.
Well, they thought some long-haired dummy was going to walk in here. They're going to just walk all over him.
Yeah.
But,
By the way, a guy who doesn't do any drugs, doesn't drink,
Nothing.
doesn't do.
so they
anything.
didn't know what to expect. They watched him walk in. They're
Yeah.
all sitting there going, we're just going to hammer this guy.
Yeah.
He had an answer for everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
So back to my comment about the first song, "The Kids Are Back." This one was engineered like "The Kids Are Back."
Right.
Like
Yeah.
all the other songs in the middle dropped out. Quality wasn't as good. This one and the first song were like production wise is unbelievable. And it's so funny when you're listening to them in the headphones. It's
Yeah, I don't
crazy.
know
I don't
What's
know.
behind that?
Yeah. Let's see. Say What You Will. Does it hold up, Mr. Mark?
I think it holds up because I think it's a defining album for them. That it's a classic. I mean, even looking on here, it's one of the top 100 heavy metal albums of all time. I mean, yeah, there's some weak stuff on it, yeah, but I think it was a important album for the time, so I think it holds up.
Boy, tough to add to that. I mean, you pretty much summed it up. There's some weak spots here, but for what we know, what Twisted Sister was to become, or for at least a short period of time, I'd say yes.
Yeah.
Boy, this is a weird one today. I wrote Not For Me, really. Couple of classics, but the album as a whole wasn't holding for me.
Yeah. Well, I think it's an acquired taste thing again.
Yeah.
If you're not into his style and that's delivery.
I love Dee. The first thing I said, man, I love Dee's voice.
Yeah.
But you raised a good point, and I think even for folks listening and pondering what thinking about that question is like, would you listen to this? Like, cutting your lawn, popping in the AirPods,
I think I would listen to the Motorhead over this one.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's tough, man. You're talking about albums that come out 40 years ago. You know what I mean?
That's why we do this.
It's tough. It's tough to, Do I think this sounds outdated? Yeah. I mean, obviously, you throw this album on, you're not going to say, "Wow, this is a new album from Twisted Sister."
Right. We get that.
But I just think it's got enough on it, and just the one song, "Can't Stop Rock and Roll," it's just such a legendary, definitive signature song for this band that I think it holds the rest of the album together.
If you say that, we could go back and argue the Quiet Riot album.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, man.
It's a tough.
Because
really
that album
hard.
sucks because
he's over the top.
he's over the top. He's ruined his elements that are being ruined by
His
the
over
brow.
the topness.
Where Dee Snider's singing it through this
He's
whole
singing
album.
in the song.
He's singing in the song.
He's singing for the song too.
Right.
Yeah, I get it. All right. Well, 2-1.
Yep. There we go.
Almost like Vegas Knights up 3-1 over the Panthers.
They on tonight or tomorrow?
They were on last night.
Who won last night?
Vegas. They're up 3-1.
That's
So
over.
I was thinking the other day, Cassidy to the Bruins is like Brady to the Patriots, right?
Yeah.
Brady left, won a Super Bowl. Cassidy's got booted. He's going to win a cup.
Yeah.
Boy, the Boston sports are getting it right, huh?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus. All right, last one. Loverboy. Keep it up.
Yeah. So, if you don't mind, third release. This is U.S. Billboard number 7.
Yeah.
7. Wow.
Yeah, this band definitely had success. in the
2-time
80s.
platinum. Double platinum.
This
Fairborn, I think is his way you pronounce it. And
Bob Rock.
and Paul Dean.
Bob Rock was the engineer.
Yeah.
Go figure.
But Dean,
Yeah.
the guitar player, was co-producer of this.
Gotcha.
Album. Interesting. Third album.
But when you got Bruce and Bob involved, you're
Yeah.
gonna have a decent album, and
So
Well, the
this-
production's going to be there,
yeah,
right?
right. So this
and the
is
songs.
But the thing with this band for me was you couldn't put them in a category, right?
No.
It's like
yeah.
they got some rock stuff, but they got the keyboard thing going. They got some ballady stuff. They're not like soft enough to be put into the Bryan Adams.
Right.
Who else is around back in those days? It's
Richard Marx.
and stuff like Huey Lewis, but they're not in the hair band
No.
genre either. They weren't
Well, the
part of
album-
that. They didn't tour with
The
any.
album cover showed that they weren't in the hair band.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't. They're like borderline. Like you couldn't put these guys. Like what kind of band is this? They definitely never toured with like metal hard rock bands, right?
So here are some bands they opened up for: Cheap Trick, Journey, ZZ Top, Kansas, and Def Leppard.
Wow.
Yeah, see,
Those
Def
are-
Leppard.
So
maybe.
they got some good exposure.
So this is a Canadian band,
Yep.
right? We have to establish
Yeah.
that. To me, this was corporate rock, or they're trying to go that corporate rock, right? That's their measurement of success, in my opinion. But this is the '80s, so if you're gonna have commercial success, it's gonna have that.
Well, there was a
80s vibe
template,
all
right?
over it.
Well,
right?
they were following up a huge motherfucking album.
Oh
of
yeah,
Get Lucky. I
Yeah.
mean, that album
Yeah.
was gigantic.
for sure. Yeah, but I mean, to me, I think the blueprint they were going for, through especially in this one, was more like shifting more towards like that Foreigner type of
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
lower end Journey stuff, and we'll talk about whether they did that or not.
Like
Right.
I could see the Foreigner with more keys.
Yep.
You know? Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah.
And Mike Reno was mentioned. I think this is where I heard it. Rick Emmett, when he did that live Twitter thing with Martha Quinn and Runoff,
Yep.
he mentioned Mike Reno, and they played a lot together growing up in the Canada scene.
Right.
And he mentioned them being in some bands together or something like that. I don't remember the exact reference, but sorry, I stepped
Oh no,
on it.
no. I mean, this is a tough one because it's like the first two albums I thought were good, were decent for Loverboy, and now we have like a little bit more of a shift into being more commercial or trying to be more commercial.
Well, by the time you
And
get to this year in '80s, there's almost like you said a template or a blueprint to how an album is done. You got to have a single, which is a rock. They have to have a ballad. But they weren't. That was more the rock, hard rock, right?
Yeah.
All these bands had to have. Well, not all of them, because Rat never had a ballad, right?
No, not till way later. And it was
But you could see where that blueprint was coming, where you had these albums had to be structured a certain way.
And they were successful, by the way.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, U.S. Billboard number 7, 2-time platinum. They were successful in achieving that goal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dennis, did you just say Foreigner? Were we talking about? So right now they're on tour with Foreigner. They're playing at Guildford this summer.
Well, that fits their.
Although my wife, when I told her I was reviewing this, she goes, "Oh, I'm going to look them up." And she goes, "Whoa, singer looks a little different from what she
Oh,
remembered."
Reno.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now he's like the size of the city of Reno, Nevada.
Yeah. He's got the headband. He still
Yeah.
wears. He's got the red headband.
Oh yeah, that's what she said. She goes,
Yeah.
"He's wearing the headband still."
Yeah,
I go, man,
and it's not looking good.
He may have cocaine in there.
Yeah.
He looks like Kung Fu Panda, one of those things.
What else?
There's a lot of keys. You
Oh,
know.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
we'll
mean,
get into
Jesus,
that.
Yeah.
All right. You want to jump in here?
Sure.
Hot Girls in Love.
Well, clearly that's the single, right, off
Right.
this album.
There were two singles. Yeah.
Very catchy song, big song for them. Obviously, the biggest song on this album. I like the track. I don't know. I watched the video today, and
You did?
the video. They're in a gas station, and the drummer's playing the drums with the gas pump hoses. I was going, what? Whose idea was that?
Oh, that's awesome.
So the lyrics are just, again, cheesy lyrics.
Cheesy,
You know, I mean, I guess it was a sign of,
Oh, it
that's
fit the
way it was.
landscape, right?
I didn't think it was a bad song, especially at the time. It did
Well, it's
what
well
it was
written.
designed to do, which
Yeah.
was to, get people
Hey,
listening to this.
Dennis, it's an open space here. You can say you like the song. We're not going to judge you, all right?
Girls in love.
I liked it, dude.
Yeah, we can all sing it.
I don't mind it.
What's interesting is Bruce, the producer on the album, he co-wrote almost all these tunes.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? I didn't know
I
that.
didn't know that.
I just wrote definitely Radio Ready, total song of the time for sure. Huge hit, huge single release.
Hey, you just picture yourself like at Hampton Beach back then, and like it's playing
Oh yeah.
constantly on the radio while you're there, you know.
Yep. All right. Anything else?
Nope.
Next song, Strike Zone.
I thought this was a good song. It was
Yeah,
6
again, Dennis, it's open. You know.
All right, good.
Come
Thank
on.
you.
We're not going to
I'm
judge
letting
you.
loose. 6 minutes. So, yeah,
Is it really?
6 minutes, 1 second.
Yeah, it's a long tune.
That's
That's way longer than I can go.
I like the guitar tone. Paul Dean's guitar on this. Yeah, I didn't think it was a bad song compared to what we're about to go through.
Oh boy.
Well, it's a typical cheesy 80s song, right?
Yeah.
But I said it could be a soundtrack song to like a Tom Cruise movie. You know, they got like that. I think they did do some soundtrack.
They did do. They
stuff.
were on. I think I have it in one of these.
You hit a song. It's like I just picture like that. What's a Tom Cruise movie? He's a pilot or
Top Gun.
something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like an adventure.
They did do a Top Gun song. That's what it was in 86.
Yeah, and this kind of fits
Same
that.
thing.
You know, you could the strike zone. You know, it's got that
Yep.
type of title. you
Yep.
know.
Well, after this podcast, I'm gonna play this for you. And by the way, for those who don't know, I'll forget it. But anyways, I'm gonna play this song for you after.
Okay.
Strike zone.
Great White stole this riff for Face the Day.
I don't wanna face the day. That's a good tune.
They totally
Today.
took the riff, and I'll play it for you. I don't know when Face the Day
I like
came
that
out.
song better.
That was like later 80s, right?
That's pretty early though, right? Then
Yeah. Yeah.
Great White. They were around.
Oh, well, then
That
it'll
was
be interesting to see when
yeah,
these
who
fall.
came first? I'm not sure when that came out.
So, anyways, solo and section is cool timing change. Straight ahead, a lot of keys for sure, but a sign of the times. And it feels like a single or like a movie soundtrack tune.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It's never easy.
I got sappy, crappy song. Reno definitely could sing, but this is way too wimpy for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got terrible.
They're burying this album in keyboards to the fact it's just obnoxious.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
just takes any edge off
I'm trying to pull
any
up.
type of rock going on.
This was like for an 80s teen movie,
Yeah.
you know, like a soundtrack song. Oh.
Most of his songs have a soundtracky feel to them.
It's funny, we write the same thing. I wrote, well, not my cup of tea, but you could hear this on an 83 movie soundtrack.
Right.
And I wrote, but next song, please. Like, it wasn't
Yeah.
a good one.
Change of a Lifetime? Is that what we got?
Chance.
Chance of a Lifetime.
Chance.
Oh, I put
Chance of a
Change.
Lifetime. I wrote, oh my God, this is right from a video game. Like the music.
Yeah.
This
typical
this
80s.
isn't a good intro. Seems like a song without an intro riff.
Yeah, I thought it was the vocals and the keys just again they kill this
They're
song,
killing
destroy
it.
it.
They're overdoing the keyboards. Cheesy, you know, cheesy comes up a lot in my opinions on these songs. It's just so cheesy sounding, you know.
Right.
And you know, you can say, "Oh, it's the '80s," but there's bands in the '80s that didn't cheese out
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
You know, you can't
Like
blame it
Motorhead.
on the era.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I hear you. Be interesting to know, did Bryan Adams have a tune in '83, an album? Be interesting to see.
Yeah, he wrote that huge album.
Was that
that
83
'83? What was the one with?
Cuts Like a Knife.
No,
Reckless.
Reckless.
Oh. All right, anyways. Queen of the Broken.
Yeah, second single right off this album.
Second single.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's as strong as the first single.
No.
Still a little too wimpy for me.
Let's dance.
It's becoming a chick band for me. You know, I think the girls like these bands. You know,
Yeah.
I
Well-
think that's what they're trying to appeal to.
Well, so interesting side note on this. So I was listening to this, and Lisa goes, "What are you listening to now?" And I said, "Loverboy." So I told her the album. She goes, "I remember in 1983, MTV did a contest to be in this music video that they were making.
This song?
This song."
All right.
And she goes, "I remember it exactly because, she was like, oh, there's going to be some beautiful girl and all this." Well, the girl that won, let's just say she was a little overweight, where this video features all these hot girls in the desert and they're playing to them. So the girl is in the video for like a total of 2 seconds in the beginning, like moving faders up on a board
Oh,
in
my
a control
God.
room. But I never, Lisa's like, "Oh, I remember they were doing a contest for this." So
Yeah.
wasn't a great video's freaking funny though.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
They're
corny.
all running across the desert with their shirts open.
Oh, yeah.
so Loverboy was right. So MTV really helped.
Oh,
them
they
a
loved
lot.
them, yeah.
Because they did whatever they said. You know what I mean?
Well, they wrote songs for 1983 MTV.
Right.
And
And like I'm saying, like you telling me they run around in these stupid outfits and stuff. They agreed to everything.
this may have been like, if they did a top 10 back then, this may have been number 4.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
On MTV.
Yeah.
So, all right, next song, "Prime of Your Life."
I kind of like the riff. It's a little bit, I guess, a little bit heavier than some of the other stuff. But again,
I got too much
keyboards.
keyboard.
Yeah,
It's just smothering me.
like you listen to these songs and you go, "Gee, if you could rewrite it, you know what I mean, like with just more guitar or something, and you kind of make it more modern." There's probably, I guess, you could say that about any song, right? But
Right. I mean, it's hard to, foresee the future and see how cheesy
Yeah.
this is going to sound 30, 40 years from now. But back then it sounded
Top
normal,
notch.
I guess, right?
yeah,
Though I never liked that much keyboard. And there's a way to do it, right? And there's a way to not do it. Like Eddie Van Halen on 5150 found a way to put keys in without drowning out the rest of the instruments on the album.
yeah.
Yeah.
With this is just drowning out everything else going on with just the keys,
Yep. I wrote decent tune. Again, I think Bruce and Bob were behind a lot of these songs to make them as popped and polished as they could.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think that tandem was there for that. Passion Pit.
Wow, this
Lyrics
is
are awful.
awful.
I got
Bad.
keyboard softening up another rock track.
Yeah,
Guitar tone was
Not great.
horrible.
yeah.
Yeah, I just
So you didn't like it?
no. I don't even like the title of the song, Passion Pit.
Oh, the freaking chorus is ridiculous.
What's a passion pit?
I know what a
Hey,
passion
honey,
pit is.
let's get into the passion pit.
One Side Love Affair.
This one I got, for the love of God, can somebody please unplug that damn fucking keyboard?
Right.
I think-
Because this song has potential.
Do you need that
Yeah.
much keyboard?
Yeah.
I thought this song was
Maybe in the
decent.
first day.
Huh?
Maybe in the first day with the keyboard, and they were just like,
Jeez,
it's like Tommy Lee with the cowbell.
It's like, hey,
Yeah.
Tommy, it doesn't have to be on 12 tracks.
I thought this song had some potential. Again, for
Until
the
the
times,
keyboards came in.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh, all right. I wrote extremely 80s song, but not on the Motorhead side.
Right.
Last song, Meltdown.
So,
Hey, it's an open space, Dennis. Come
this
on.
guy, like Reno,
Dennis,
hopefully,
wait a
not in
second.
a relationship
Hey.
at this point.
Dennis, put your shirt back on. He's getting a little too excited here.
What about the shorts? So meltdown when he's yeah, can you imagine? Like his wife or girlfriend reading like what's this song? Meltdown, Passion Pit,
Ugh.
One-sided love affair. I love you, honey. But when he's in the middle of these lyrics, it's almost like he's doing some like like this like vocabulary, like he's going like I'm in a meltdown. Don't make it a shakedown.
Yeah, I
heading
remember that.
Downtown
Yeah.
with Mr. Brown.
with the countdown. I mean,
Was that Adam Sandler thing in one of the movies where he just keeps rhyming the same words over and over and over?
yeah, it's almost like what he's doing with this. It's just
How many words can I say that rhyme before we get out of the solo?
Uptown. I didn't mind the guitar solo. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I said
but-
that too. Decent guitar solo in it.
Yeah.
Paul Dean was pretty good guitar player. And the drummer is really good. The band, I think, is good musicians.
Yeah.
But the band's got no balls.
I mean, well, the first two albums, I think you referenced your wife was looking at.
Well,
listening to, you think like, like, wow, we're going to get.
Well, did Bruce Fairbairn do the first two? Or did this guy come in and get a hold of these guys and say...
Well, Get Lucky had a lot of keys.
Yeah.
But they used it better.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I wrote... I actually wrote it was a pretty heavy groove for them. And kind of musically it was together, but the chorus was horrific. Just wasn't... I didn't get the meltdown, breakdown, countdown, shakedown.
Well, I'm thinking about this album, and I'm going, how does this album get so like cheesy? Is it the producer that steps in and he's just got dollar signs in his eyes, and we got to have some sappy stuff. We got to draw in the women, and I'm sitting there going, what is it that makes it like that? And then I realized. If you pull all their pants down, they all have vaginas.
Whoa, hey.
Ooh.
On the record.
And that's on record.
I think
This is the wimpiest sounding album
But
I've heard.
I think they're trying to make money. They're trying to be commercially successful.
I was going to say, did we say that this was a successful album?
Number 7.
Well,
Number
it is.
7.
It's all
Double
based
platinum.
off one song, right?
Yeah. Well,
Couple
Well, I know.
songs.
They're all doing that. I mean, look at, here we go, Quiet Riot again, right?
yeah.
Their freaking whole legacy is based on one fucking song.
Yeah, I just think that, at the time, they're from Canada. The other bands, you've got Triumph, you've got Rush, so you got that direction, and then, they're
Isn't Bryan Adams from Canada?
Yep, Bryan
Yeah.
Adams, right. So which way are we going, right? So, I mean, I think they sell out. These bands sell, I mean, literally are going to change their,
they feel like-
songwriting to be on MTV. And then, the other band that was popular back then but didn't do what they did was April Wine, if you ever remember that band.
A little bit.
Yeah, but they
Yeah.
weren't.
Maybe
They didn't
not
have
at
the
this
success level.
level.
of this
No,
band.
but I mean, they wrote these songs for MTV.
Of course.
Oh, yeah. Well, we've said that before on podcasts. Like, these songs or this album was written with MTV in mind. I mean, MTV changed the game.
Yeah,
For what was going to be a hit and what was not going to be a hit.
right.
Is that a good way to write music? Or
Well, going back to like the 70s or whatever, no. Like the 70s were... Actually, I was thinking about this today. Like, how do bands... I wasn't thinking about it today, but in the last month or so. How do bands today... Like, there's no outlet for them. There's no... Is AAF playing new rock? Or
AAF?
Yeah.
They're not even on the air. They're not even around anymore.
There you go. But like, what radio station's playing new rock for an outlet for bands like today? So what?
Oh, none of
hear
them.
me out. So in the 70s, the bands that were coming out, they weren't even playing it for the radio. They weren't playing for anything other than themselves and loving the music that was being created. I mean, they may have said there's going to be some radio here and there, but when MTV came along, it was like, holy shit, this is Radio 2. How do we can capitalize and make even more money? And the labels, we've heard stories of them stepping in and going, this album sucks, we want more hits, go back. That type of stuff.
But I know we always touch on Van Halen, but they didn't have any videos on MTV until
Pretty
1984.
Woman?
Yeah, but that never got any airplay.
It
And then
actually got banned, didn't it?
yeah, and then the other stuff with those live fair warning things that got thrown in there back in 81, but they never had videos until
Yeah.
84.
I think you got this band, first two albums, they want to get out of Canada. They see this is just my theory, they see this new MTV and the power of MTV, and the songs outside the lyrics probably aren't bad, but then it's like, how can you MTV this? You're going to put in keys and you're going to get... So their band, their trajectory is we're going towards Foreigner, and also the band at the time, too, that was really popular. Remember the Cars?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Heartbeat City and so forth.
Yeah.
That's where they're headed, I think.
Well, everything was getting pop, right?
But-
Even the hard rock bands are going pop.
But let's face it, this band, like I just looked at Get Lucky, right? 2 great songs, Working for the Weekend When It's Over, right? The songwriting doesn't hold up here. You know, like
No.
Foreigner, the songwriting held up. They were great songwriters, or Mick Jones or whatever.
Right.
And you look at the Cars, I mean, my God, I mean, legendary band. The songwriting held up. Here, I mean, I just call it what it is. The songwriting doesn't
Which is
hold
surprising to me, having a producer like Bruce Fairbairn, who you'd think would have a more control
But it was
over this.
successful.
Yeah, but you're right. Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So he did. He got them number 7 on the Billboard and double platinum.
Well, I mean,
They got paid, and they got publicity. You know.
the success of your album is pretty much based on the success of your previous album, right? If you write a huge album that sells 5, times platinum, you could write the suckiest album in the world, the next one, but guess what? It's going to sell 5 times platinum because everyone has to buy it first,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. I just
Look, I think this album has caused the most discussion of this podcast.
Yeah, I was just
All right,
getting so
hold on.
frustrated listening to the keyboards on this, going,
Yeah.
"Oh my god!"
I may have tuned it out a little bit, or I may have heard it more in the song, meaning for what the song was, and not got hung up on it.
And it's
wrapped around
not
the
even that you shouldn't have the keyboard in there. I think the keyboard should be a little bit behind everything else is going, like just an enhancement,
Yeah.
where it was too much the focal point. You know?
Yep.
I
Not
just
according to Bruce.
I remember
Apparently
this-
not.
I remember vaguely, that was a long time ago, liking that Keep It Up album. And then, I mean, the one
Get
before
Lucky.
this, Get Lucky, right? And then being disappointed with this because I felt like they transitioned away from the formula.
Yeah.
And I think that's evident by looking at this. So,
All right. Well, say what you will, Mark. Does it hold up?
Negative.
Dennis,
no.
I must have been in a lovey, gushy feeling or something because I said it does. And I said I think if it was on and I walked into a house party, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, you'd hear those 2 songs and you'd
Yeah.
be like, yeah, but then you got to sit through the rest of that album. I
Yeah.
don't know. I just don't think there's enough.
It created a lot of discussion
Even
today.
their first album
Yeah.
was pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember the first album.
Kids Are Hot Tonight, Turn Me Loose.
Oh, geez,
Turn
yeah.
Me Loose.
Oh, that's a great.
Yeah.
But it seems like they can't get over more than 2 songs on an album.
That's the first album you're reading from?
First
Yeah,
album.
that, yeah.
I think you can probably say that about 80% of the bands out there.
I think that album, though, was more guitar orientated. That first one.
Yeah.
I mean, there's keys there, and there's keys on the second one, but
Bruce Fairbairn
this is heavy on the key.
and Bob Rock on it.
Yeah. Wow.
Look at us talking about Loverboy this
Loverboy.
much.
Hey, look, they played M3.
Hey, twice, that 2 times platinum,
Yeah.
the first album.
What?
2 times platinum.
Wow.
But,
Huh.
like we said, did they go back and buy it after
Right.
somebody's other albums? I don't know.
Holy smokes. All right. Well, we discussed that. That's the 3 albums. So we mentioned at the top of the podcast we have some news about local thing that's happening, and you're probably well aware that Mark and I think Dennis is, but I know Mark and I are just nutty about old Van Halen, meaning
Correct.
the Dave era.
And so is Dennis.
And Dennis. Yeah, well, I shouldn't even say that. I'm sorry, because you went to you saw 84.
Yeah.
You saw the tour.
Yep.
Did we
that?
go together? Yeah, we went to that together, right?
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
Where,
Who
Worcester?
opened?
Or
Worcester. Autograph opened.
That's right. Yeah.
Turn up radio.
sing it, Mark.
Nope, that's all you get. I charge for
So
that.
anyways, huge fans. So this Friday, the June 16th, at Wally's Pub in Hampton Beach, New Hampshire, is a tribute band playing called Totally Unchained. Look them up on YouTube and you can see what they sound like and perform like. So we thought it would be kind of cool to see if we can do a podcast from there and talk nothing but old Van Halen. So it's actually happening. So we're going to be there probably 3:30ish, and we're going to be out back in the outside, and we're going to record a podcast talking about nothing but old Van Halen, and hopefully we can get maybe if they're sound checking then, some of the guys to talk about it. But we got a bunch of stuff planned for the whole show, and we'd like to, if this goes well, we'd like to visit other venues that do 80s tribute bands and see if we can get something rolling here. But we'll have some stuff for you guys. But if you're in the area, come down, have a beer, talk Van Halen. Mark, Dennis, anything to say?
Yeah, love to see folks. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, you can come down and give us a hard time about some of the stuff you don't agree with. I'm sure there's a lot. And we might do some giveaways. We're thinking about.
That's right.
Mention that.
Yep.
Some trivia for anybody who's...
Brush up on your Van Halen.
Brush up on your Van Halen. That's right.
Mark knows it. I know
do.
it. I think it's safe to say Mark probably knows the most. I maybe second. I don't know. And then Dennis, or maybe
Yeah, Dennis knows his Van Halen.
All right,
I
we're
don't know. You
tied.
guys could have a Van Halen off.
Mark, you come up with questions for
For
Dennis
you two.
and I. to
A
answer.
battle.
There we go.
Oh,
That's a good one.
Game on.
All right.
Yeah.
Challenge.
I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the Taylor lady, get down on her knees, suck the air out of my ankle. Yeah, so if you're in the area, come on down. We'll be out back. You'll see a bunch of weirdos with 3 mics. And
I'll be there.
oh, ouch. So, all right, cool. Anything else to say? And I'll tweet about it, too.
No, we're good.
All right, let's wrap it up. Peace.
Adios.